Hi everyone, I'm here today to share with you a guest design team project that I did for Raindrop Lila. Lydia, thank you so much for asking me to do a project for you. I had such fun creating this journal. I used the new Felicity kit, and I also added in some papers from the Peachy Pink Vintage Paper Collection and images from the Vintage Roses Ephemera, from Anabelle, and from Home Sweet Home Instant Photos. I will list all of those below in the description box so you know what to look at, and I will also link the Raindrop Lila Etsy shop as well. So I encourage you to go over and take a look. Lydia has the most gorgeous kits. So let me take you through what I created here. So this started out to be a traveler's notebook, and then you can see it just got a little bit crazy because I've got a lot of inserts in here. So if you did take all of the inserts out, it would be a reasonable size to journal and add photos to. But when I got everything kind of put together, I realized it couldn't stay a traveler's notebook size. So I made a spine here. This is a 3/4 inch spine, and honestly, it should be a little bit bigger. However, this works. So because I cut the traveler's notebook and then added another piece, this is actually 3 pieces in the end of 65-pound cardstock. And I've used one of the gorgeous wallpaper images from the Felicity collection. I've just kind of scruffed up the edges of everything you'll see throughout with just a pair of scissors. And then I've used, I think I used tea dye as well as a little bit of vintage photo oxide inks for the edging on everything. And then on the cover, I've just done a little bit of gold rub and buff that you can see here. I've closed it with this gold ribbon. And this kind of that gold started because I had this piece here of this gold trim that I wanted to use, and you can see it was too small. So what I did was just added a few layers of just some coffee dyed sheer fabric, and then you probably can't see it on camera, but there is a little piece of netting here as well. So that is the front and that is the back. And let me show you what I created. So this is available in my Etsy shop if anyone is interested. The listing I have linked below. So the inside front and back covers I have just left plain. It just was getting so thick, I thought if I add something else here, it's going to be pretty impossible to use. So that's why that's left plain. However, if you purchase this and decide you prefer to have a pocket here, you can just go and check out the Felicity paper kits and just print one out and add it in here, and it'll go perfectly with this journal. So I've added lots of layers, as you can see, as I like to, lots of tabs and lots of you know, sari ribbon ruffles and so on, just to add lots of interest to this. The first page, I believe, is, so the Peachy Pink collection goes really beautifully with the Felicity collection, and the Peachy Pink collection has a lot of collaged pages. So that's what I've used for some of the backgrounds you'll see, and that's where this is from. And I've just printed it onto vellum, just as the first page here. Here I've got a little tab with a little bit of aged tape that I've made, and just some really pretty turquoise washi. And I should mention, I used this page because I really liked kind of this yellow, just for the summer. I just thought this yellow was really bright and happy. A couple of colors of rose, and then this really pale turquoise. I've really tried to pull out that turquoise. I love pink and turquoise. I love the yellow and cream with craft. So you'll see that I've used a lot of craft color throughout this journal as well. So for the second page, I have just clipped on with this rusted paper clip, and you'll see that I've used a lot of rusted pins and paper clips throughout this as well. I've clipped on this image. Now this is a reproduction of a photo that I have, and I've just printed it onto glossy photo paper, and it just looks like a real photo. And I've cut the edges with the decal edge paper trimmer from Tim Holtz, and it really gives it that vintage photo look. This is an image from, I believe, one of the Vintage Roses ephemera from that kit, and I've added a little bit of age tape. And then this is a vintage French letter document, and it's from 1887. So you can see all the ink splatters, so that's included as well. That is clipped onto this page, and it's a fold out, and I've just added in a couple of other sheets here just for some extra journaling space. Here is a side pocket, and this is just taken from the top or the side, I think, of one of the collaged pages. I've just added it and cut it as a pocket. And then I've just cut a tag from one of those collage pages and added a little bit of sari ribbon and some trim at the top, just for some extra journaling. One of the really pretty pages from the Peachy Pink kit, and this pattern has a few different colorways, and you'll see how I've used another one a little bit further on, but this is just beautiful. I actually debated using this for the cover and finally settled on the other. I've added a sari ribbon ruffle here. And here is one of the background collage pages. I believe it's from the Peachy Pink collection, but it could also be from the Felicity collection. I've forgotten now because I used a real mix of both of those. So you'll have to check them both out to make sure that if you're interested, that you get the right collection there. This is one of the Vintage Roses ephemera images that I have backed onto some craft paper to make into a side tuck here. Here I have added a Paris stamp, and all of the stamps that I've used throughout this, if I show you a stamp, it's a stamp from one of the Sam Poole stamp collections that is through Crafter's Companion, so you can check those out. I believe you can get them typically on scrapbook.com, so you might want to check there as well. That's where I got mine. So what I've done, I've added in one of the journaling cards. So with this kit, you get wallpaper backgrounds, you get some collage pages, you get envelopes and ephemera and tickets and washi tape and all kinds of tags and all kinds of journaling cards. And this is one of the small journaling cards. And I have just added a little bit of sheer fabric and some lace and some rather sari ribbon here with a little rusted safety pin just for a little journaling spot. So I've added that. And then the other thing that you do get are file folders, and these are full page file folders. I've just reduced the size. I have added a little bit of age tape and a little stamp here, and then I've just added a little gusset to each side to make it into a pocket. Stamped notes there, and in it I have added a few more of those journaling cards that I have attached together just with this bulb pin that has a little bit of this tool on it. Another stamp here, and I've just stamped notes on the back of these three, and I thought this would be a great place to add maybe a photo to the front and journaling to the back. And so that goes in that little file folder in that little pocket. I've added a yellow ledger page here. This is vintage, and I just thought, of course, because of the yellow that kind of is throughout this kit, I thought that would be a great addition. Here is a vintage doily that I've added, some craft colored baking paper with a little bit of that gold trim on the side. Another of the Vintage Rose images, and here I've just added a stamp, backed it onto a little bit of craft paper, on top of this coffee dyed bag, added a bit of vintage or aged tape. And then in it, I have created from some of, I think these are all of these journaling cards that I created are from the Peachy Pink kit. And I've just reduced the size of the collage page, printed it onto cardstock to create the journaling cards. And so to this one, I've added a tab and a little vintage button, and that's a journaling card. I've added in this vintage French ephemera sheet, a vintage little piece of vintage ledger here, and then here I have coffee dyed a square doily that I have folded into an envelope. I've added a little petaloo flower there in that turquoise, and a little bit of that gold ribbon, and another tab here. And these tabs are made from a die cut that I just folded in half. Added a bit of lace, doily here underneath, and some cheesecloth and trim and aged tape just to kind of make it a little bit more interesting. And if you're interested to know how I created those and how I put them together, just let me know below in your comment, and I will do a little kind of quick video to show you how I create those. But in any case, in this envelope, and the back is open here, I've left it open, although I haven't inserted anything. Here's a die cut. And I've used my favorite note stamp on that, as I usually do. If you watch my journals, I usually add that. This is one of the tags that you get, the smaller size tag that you get in the kit, and I've just added a bit of sari ribbon. I've added a Tim Holtz frame die cut, and then this is from the Anabelle collection, this journaling card. And those all just get added here. I won't add those just now. I had this kind of turquoisey blue French receipt printable on my desk that I thought went very nicely with this collection. Here's another journaling card that I created from some of the collage papers. Here I've added a little bit of kind of scraps of lace and some sari ribbon and a little bit of trim there. And just stamped notes on the back. I think I need to stamp notes on the back of that other one. I'll do that as well. Here is just a tissue paper, craft tissue paper ruffle. So you can see it's tissue paper. I've added a little bit of trim here. And how I did this, because the tissue paper is a little bit flimsy, I cut just a strip of coffee dyed paper, and I actually, when I was ruffling this in the sewing machine, I actually ruffled it onto that piece of coffee dyed paper so that the coffee dyed paper is what is glued to the edge of this paper, so it makes it a little bit more sturdy, and it was a lot easier to manage. And then I've just added this really pretty pink trim. On this side, I have a craft baking paper pocket, piece of a vintage doily here, and I've just got some kind of gold color sari ribbon here that I've ruffled. And in the pocket then I have another of the small tags that goes with the collection, and I've just added some pink sari ribbon. Here I have embossed some cardstock and just added a button and some more sari ribbon. And here's one of the larger tags that comes in the kit. I've added a piece of that embossed cardstock to the bottom, and a little bit of sari ribbon and some more trim at the top. This is a vintage French ledger page, and it's just so interesting. The color works so well with this, and I just love kind of the scruffy edges. And you'll see on the other side as we get there, there's some really beautiful calligraphy on that side. Another tab here, and to this one I've just added a little cream button and a little bit of cheesecloth with some H tape and a little piece of a doily. A great kind of coffee dyed journaling page. For this coffee dyeing as well, I used to soak my paper, and For this one, all I've done is sprayed with some coffee mixture. Just, I don't know, I think it was just 20-pound printer paper. And it's turned out beautifully, actually. I love the color. I love some of this at the bottom. It's just turned out beautifully. And it's just a really soft color that I thought went really nicely with this kind of very soft colored collection. Here is a really pretty kind of peach background with a lace overlay piece of paper, and this is from the Peachy Pink collection as well. This is one of the images from the Home Sweet Home Instant Photos kit, and I have printed that onto glossy photo paper, so it looks like a real instant photo. In the center of the signature here, I have, you know, I like symmetry. If you watch my videos, I like a little bit of symmetry. So I have one of those baking paper pockets on each side with the same coffee dyed lace. And then in each pocket, I have added some tags. In the center, I have traced an envelope template onto one of the Felicity collage wallpaper papers, and I've just closed it with a rusted paper clip, added a little bit of aged tape, and I have an accordion gusset added. You can add quite a bit to this envelope, and I initially did have things in it, but this whole journal just got so thick that for whoever wants to purchase this, I will add the things I would have added to that just in a separate bag that you can add or not as you wish. So on this side, again, I've got another of the small tags that comes in the kit, another journaling card, and I've just again added a little bit of lace scraps and a scrap of tulle and trim and sari ribbon there. This is one of the backs to the instant photo images that you get with the kit. I've added a little bit of aged tape and another tab at the top, and I just thought that was another good journaling spot. On this side, I have another image from the Anabelle collection. It's the same as the one you saw previously, but this one has the turquoise border and the other one had the pink border. I've got another piece of embossed cardstock that I've added a tab and just a bit of tulle and some trim to at the top. Now these are part of the photo frames collection. There's 4 kind of different roses, and then there's 4 different plain frames, and so I just added those in, and you'll see throughout, let me just grab these, you'll see throughout that I've used those in a couple of ways. So they actually come, what have I done with it? I don't know what I've done with it. They've actually come, here it is. They actually come 4 to a page, to an 8.5 by 11 page. So they're actually larger. I've reduced this down to print 2 sets to a page. And then I further reduced it to print contact page size, and I printed 4 on 1 page. And that's where you'll see further on you can see I've used 2 sets here. So I've used some of these as actual labels later on in the book. So it's a great way to just kind of use the kit in different ways just by printing, you know, different sizes of the images that you get. Here I've got just a pretty turquoise sari silk ruffle. And here I have clipped on this bag. Now I mentioned to you that I had used that same image page that I had earlier on in a different colorway. So this is printed onto some tracing paper to create, if I can grab it here, just to create this bag. And I've added a little bit of age tape there. And then at the bottom, I hope you can see that stamp from Sam Poole. And then I've just added some paper here, another stamp, and I've just added a few sheets here for some extra journaling space. So that just gets clipped on with this rusted bulldog clip. And here's the other side to that vintage French ledger, and you can see the beautiful calligraphy that is a part of that. I just love that. Here's another journaling card that I made like I did earlier on. I've added this Ulta new embossing folder image here, and then I've just added again a little bit of lace scraps and a little rusted paper safety pin there. You could journal on that. It might be difficult with the embossing, but there's spots that you could journal on as well. The other thing that is part of the kit is some background pages. So there's a really pretty, this is kind of like an avocado color, and then there's kind of like a cream color as well. So there's some great backing plain images that you can add to your pages or your journaling cards, your tags, that kind of thing. Isn't that beautiful, that collaged wallpaper image? That's the other side of that. It's a great kind of journaling space there. Here I've added a tab, and you can see I've used that craft colored tissue paper, just ruffled underneath that tab, and just added a little bit of trim. Here is a fairly busy kind of layout. On this side, I have clipped on this payroll envelope with a stamp here. And then I've sewn on this sheer kind of coffee dyed fabric. I've added a little craft cardstock embossed tag with another tab at the top. And then here I've just added a little bit of coffee dyed lace and some sari ribbon. And then I've just used a bulb pin to clip on this tag. This was just a scrap of this kind of turquoise color tag that I had in my stash. And I've just added a little bit of sari ribbon and some twine there. On this side, this is the other half of the vintage ledger page, and I've just added a tab here with some age tape, and then I have clipped on another of the Home Sweet Home instant photos there. Sorry, I forgot what I was saying. Here's the other half of that vintage French page, and then I've just stuck on over top of it a little scrap that I had of some vellum that I had printed. I had printed in a couple of sizes, decided to use the larger size, and so I just cut the smaller size here to add to this page. This is a coffee dyed bag. I just added a little bit of sari ribbon and some trim. And then this is another of the journaling cards that I've made, and just added another pretty tab to the top and stamped notes on the bottom. And you can see, so here is again more of a turquoise color. I'm really trying to pull out the turquoise in this. But if you love pink, this is the kit for you. This Felicity kit is just full of pink images, so it's beautiful. More craft baking paper with some gold trim. The other part of the vintage doily and yellow ledger. Here I've got another baking paper pocket with some vintage doily and some age tape. More of that gold sari ribbon. A pretty tab here that I've added some scrap of lace, some age tape, and a vintage button too. And then in this is another image from the Roses Ephemera. And then this is a vintage tag that I had that I've just added a twine bow to the top. Here I have added a coffee dyed bag and one of the Roses images that I have backed onto some craft paper, some age tape, and then I've just got a simple embossed tag there with some turquoise ribbon. sari ribbon. And then this is cut from one of the cardstock printed images of the collage pages. I just thought that was a great kind of journaling spot. On this side, you can see here now where I have used some of those small contact size images of those floral frames. That is a vintage glassine envelope. And so you can see I've added 3 of the rose images, and then I've added a couple of the plain images. And these I thought would be great if you were journaling. You could just put it at the top maybe and put the date in, that kind of thing. And then the kit includes different labels and so on. So I just cut a few of those out and added those to that little envelope. The other thing that I did, there are envelopes included in the kit, and I just reduced the size to create this size because it just went with, you know, the size of journal I was doing. But that's it's empty, but it's a great spot to store some things. And then this is the other file folder that I printed. And again, these are full size, full page size, and I've just reduced it. I added some more age tape. I've got a stamp here, and then I created just a little booklet. So you can see I've got a few different stamps there, and it's just a spot for extra journaling, maybe lists, maybe extra photos if you're in need of some photo space. And then that's the back. That's the last page. So that is my guest design team project for Raindrop Lila. Lydia, thank you so much for asking me to do this. I just loved using the kit. I encourage everyone to go and take a look and see what you can find over on Raindrop Lila. It's linked below. She has beautiful kits that you'll love using. And as I mentioned earlier, this is available in my Etsy shop, and I've got that listed below as well. So thank you everyone for joining me today, and I will see you all again soon.